Hi everybody, how's it going today? Thanks for watching another video. I'm in our heifer barn here this morning. The last couple of videos, my camera shots have been kind of blurry. I'm not sure what's going on there. Taryn, my wife, said I need to keep my camera lens a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to try that. I haven't changed any settings. I'm not sure why it'd be blurry now all of a sudden, or I'm moving the camera too fast. I know that I catch myself moving the camera too fast all the time, but I'll try to do a little bit better job of keeping it steady and keeping the lens clean, and we'll see if that helps at all. Was curious. I've got some ideas for videos over the winter here. Was wondering what kind of things you guys are interested in seeing. Some of you had mentioned you'd like me to talk about our activity monitor system that our cows have in their ears. I would like to do that at some point. And then I'd like to film our hoof trimming. Our hoof trimmer's coming next week. If it works out, I'd like to film him, kind of talk about the process and show you how we do that. Might not necessarily be next week, but I do plan to do that here this winter sometime. And then, yeah, I'd like, some of you had asked if I could film some of our herd guys, kind of what their daily jobs are. And I definitely will try to do that. Not all of them want to be on camera, and I will respect that. It's not for everybody, but I think I should be able to get some footage of that at some point. Yeah, and if you guys have any other ideas, I'm always open for ideas. I'd like to show you guys what you want to see. So if you've got any, let me know. On Saturday, yesterday morning, Carlos and Federico moved pregnant heifers from this pen to my left here to our far off dry cow pen to my right, and then Christian and Alexi moved heifers up in all the pens. So from the pen on the other side of the barn over into this pen, and then moved them on down all the pens on the north side of this barn. There's 5 pens. And now they're going to move them from the straw pens here into the freestall pen on the far side. So we have shown you guys this before. We typically do that every 2 weeks. We move about 25 heifers, and then yeah, we have to go down all the pens and move heifers from one pen to the next, and then from our straw pens here to our freestall pens, and then they'll move them up in the straw pens, and then we'll move them from the group hutches, the multi-hutches, into the barn here, and then from the single hutches to the group hutches, and you guys get the idea. Just kind of a rotation, I guess, always moving heifers as they get older, as they're pregnant, and then the next group of heifers will come in. So Alexi and Christian and Jose Luis are going to do that this morning. I had a few of you had asked me how we handle the manure from our far off dry cow pen. So this is that pen with sand bedding. So from all the other pens in this barn, it's scraped into this pit that has slats on it here in the center of the barn. But this far off dry cow pen, we scoop all that manure up with the bucket, and then we take it out the building. I'll show you guys that here. So these gates are open when we're cleaning these pens. These gates would be open also. So the manure from all the heifers in this barn ends up in this pit here, and this pump here circulates the pit, and that's an agitator there. It agitates right here. So when the manure in the summertime is really dry, or in the wintertime if it's frozen or a slush, we can open these flaps here and we can dump it in with the bucket, and then it can get agitated in. And then from here, there's a piston pump here. I'm not sure if you guys can really see that very well, it's kind of dark down there. But there's a piston pump, and from here it gets pumped over to our manure building in our milking cow barns. And then from there it goes together with our milking cow manure and goes to the manure storage. But the manure from that far off dry cow barn, we bring that out here with the skid steer. We have this storage area for manure outside this barn. We dump it here. I've loaded the majority of it up already this morning. There's a little bit here, so it's pretty thin today. Christian cleaned the water troughs in the far off dry cow pen. It's usually a little bit thicker than this is. And then we'll take either our telehandler, or I like to use the small payloader, but Jose Luis and Alexi were using it to put bedding in. It's a little bit easier to see what you're doing with that payloader, but telehandler works too. So we'll scoop it up here, and we'll bring it over to our milking cow barn, and I'll show you over there what we do with it once it gets to that point. So I'm on the side of our milking cow barn, the south side. It's pen 5 here, pen 4 on this side. So I'll come around our heifer barn. Now she sees me over here, so she wants to talk to me. But I just dumped the last bucket here on the floor. So we'll dump all that manure here, and coincidentally they're done cleaning in the heifer barn in that far off dry cow pen when we're milking these 2 pens here, pen 4 and pen 5. So they're already over here cleaning these alleys, so they just work it into this gutter here, where the auger is, as we're dumping it in and as they're cleaning these 2 pens. So they're not having to come over here especially just to put this manure into this auger. And it's similar timing in the afternoon actually, and it's not by design, just the way it worked out. Then it's worked into the gutter here, and then it goes to our sand manure separation system and through the manure separation system, and then it goes to our manure storage. So from this point it's pretty similar to our cow manure. We just put a few new grates in here because these grates were worn down. They were starting to bend the metal on them. So that's why these are green and these are not. So these grates last about 14 years if anybody is interested in knowing. So we do this twice a day. In the morning there's more manure than there is in the afternoon, just timing wise when the alleys are cleaned. And it is extra work, but it's not terrible either. One of you mentioned on a couple videos ago that we should purchase a manure vacuum to clean that pen. It would go quicker, that's for sure, and it'd be less handling of the manure, I guess. Now we dump it, pick it up, then dump it again. But for just the 1 pen, I mean, I'd like to have a manure vacuum, because if you ever need to suck a pit empty or if the auger breaks, you can keep cleaning the pens with that manure vacuum. But for just that 1 pen, it's more of a want at this point instead of a need. So I'll just keep doing it as we are for now. And in the winter time, once that manure gets frozen or semi-frozen, we'd have to use a bucket anyways at that point. It's a nice day today. Sun's been out. It's been a nice week. Been right around freezing, above freezing during the day, below freezing at night. So it's been good cow weather. So they just moved 26 calves, 13 from this side and then 13 from that side, over to the freestall pens, and then they'll go by and move up enough calves to fill each pen up. So we start with 15 in the last 2 pens, and then 16 in 2 pens, 17, so on. Give them a little bit more space as they get older. And up to this point, we're not recording which pen they're in specifically, so at this point they'll write down their numbers and then they'll get entered into the computer as being moved to pen 41. And from this point on, we're just moving based on size, how big they are. Just filled this pen here with 15 heifers. Now they'll put 16 into this pen. They're not necessarily looking at the numbers here, they're just looking at size. And then we'll go all the way down the line. So Jose Luis, Christian, and Alexi are working on this now. And we'll do the same on this side. They're all excited because we're working in this barn. Usually it's really quiet in here. So then when we get to this last pen, there's probably going to be a few left in this last pen, and then we'll fill this pen back up with heifer calves from the group hutches. And then now they're just getting this pelleted feed. It's a grower, I guess, got some protein pellet. But when they're transitioned over here, we'll give them a little bit of the feed that they get in the hutches, which is a textured feed. Also protein, that's a starter, calf starter. I think I've told you guys this before, but I really enjoy looking at these heifers in this barn. It's fun to walk down these pens and just watch these heifers grow up, see how they're doing, and it's yeah, really enjoyable if they are doing good and growing well. Can be a little bit challenging this time of year to control the air quality in this barn. So we typically, you can see that top curtain is opened up about 2 feet. We'll try to keep those curtains open as much as we can, even once it starts to get colder. We'll lower it some, but we try to keep it open some all the time just to keep fresh air coming into this barn. The transition period from the hutches to this barn, if we're gonna have respiratory issues, typically this is where we would see it. So we always want to pay close attention to the air quality in this barn. They seem to be dealing with it pretty well. In our heifer barn here again this afternoon, they just moved 30 calves over to the calf barn from the group hutches. That's these two pens in the front here. These calves just came out of the group hutches where they were 3 together in the hutch. And if you guys have been following along for the last couple weeks at least, then you know that we had changed our milk diet a little bit, or the amount of milk that they're getting. So we went from at peak getting 3 liters or a little over 3 liters twice a day, and now they're getting 4 liters of milk twice a day. So we've been weighing the calves as we've been moving them into these pens here. So I thought I'd share those weights with you guys. I'm kind of curious myself if once those calves that are started getting 4 liters, if we'll be able to see a weight difference at this stage. In theory we should see some difference, but I don't know if it'll be enough to really recognize if that's making a difference. But the first 3 loads that we took over here, they were the first load was around 104 days old, second load 102 days old, third load today they were 94 days old on average, and their weights were 283 pounds average the first load, 297 pounds average the second load, and 267 pounds average the third load. The calves weigh around 90 pounds when they're born, or they did a few years ago. I haven't weighed them in quite a long time. I should probably do that just to double check, but I can't imagine that's changed much. So figuring 90 pounds birth weight, we're gaining about 1.9 pounds, roughly 1.8 to 2, 1.9 pounds per day from 0 to like 3 months and 2 weeks. So I'm kind of curious to see where we're going to be at once these calves start coming through that are getting a little bit more milk, if we'll be able to see that increase a little bit. In theory, they should grow a little quicker the first few months, and that should carry on through the rest of their life. And in theory, those heifers will produce more milk through the rest of their life. That's kind of what the science says, or the studies that have been conducted. If you feed more milk, they produce more milk. I mean, it'll take quite a long time to really see if we'll notice a difference, and even at that point, there's so many variables, it's hard to tell what actually did what, or what changes you made affected their milk production. But I figured we should at least be able to see something when they're 3 to 4 months old, and if not, I don't know if the change really did anything. I think it'll be pretty difficult to tell just by visually if the calves look bigger or better. I mean, I think our calves look pretty good already, but there's always room for improvement. I think they're doing pretty well in this farm. Some nice heifers. I'll keep you guys in the loop once we start getting some of those calves into this barn. It'll be a couple months here still at least. We'll probably start weighing them once the first calves that started getting 4 liters start coming through, so we're getting some accurate data, or as close to accurate as we can get. So we're weighing a group of calves, not each calf individually. We're running them across the scale when we load them on our trailer. So I won't know individual weights, but the average should give us a pretty good idea where we're at. I don't think I have anything else for you guys in this video. I appreciate you guys watching, and if you have any questions or comments, and like I said in the beginning, if there are particular things you guys would like to see, post them down below and I'll try to accommodate if I can. And I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in the next video.